At certain points in life, many people begin to notice something difficult to define, but impossible to ignore. They are surrounded by people. They have conversations, attend gatherings, exchange messages, and participate in social routines. Yet beneath all of this activity, there is a quiet realization that something is missing. The interactions feel real on the surface, but they do not feel deeply connected. The conversations move, but they do not stay. The relationships exist, but they do not truly anchor. Over time, this creates a subtle awareness that despite being socially active, there may be no real friends present in a deeper sense. This realization is rarely immediate. It develops gradually as individuals begin comparing different kinds of interaction. They start noticing the difference between being included and being understood. Being included means being present in social settings, being invited to events, or being part of conversations. But being understood requires something entirely different. It involves being seen accurately, without needing to explain constantly, without needing to adjust personality to fit expectations, and without feeling that important parts of oneself must remain hidden. When this level of understanding is absent, relationships can begin to feel incomplete even if they appear active. One reason this situation develops is the nature of social compatibility. Many relationships form based on convenience rather than depth. People meet through school, work, shared environments, or mutual connections. These interactions create familiarity, and familiarity often becomes a foundation for ongoing contact. However, familiarity does not automatically lead to alignment in values, thinking patterns, or emotional depth. Two people can spend years interacting regularly without ever truly understanding each other beyond surface-level behavior. Over time, this creates a gap between interaction and connection. The relationship continues, but it does not deepen. Another factor involves communication style. Many individuals do not express their internal thoughts fully in social environments. They filter what they say to maintain harmony, avoid conflict, or meet expectations. While this filtering can make interaction smoother, it also limits the depth of connection. If people only share the parts of themselves that feel safe or acceptable, others never have the opportunity to understand who they are more completely. This creates a situation where relationships remain stable but shallow. Everyone participates, but no one is fully known. Over time, this can lead to a sense of isolation that exists even within social environments. Emotional timing also plays a role. People develop at different speeds in terms of self-awareness, emotional maturity, and perspective. When individuals are at different stages, it becomes difficult to connect deeply because their priorities and interpretations differ. One person may seek meaningful conversation, while another prefers light interaction. One may reflect deeply on experiences, while another moves quickly between them. These differences do not mean that one approach is better than the other, but they can create a mismatch in expectations. When this mismatch persists, relationships may remain functional but not fulfilling. Over time, individuals may begin feeling that no one around them truly shares their way of thinking. Another important influence is trust. Deep friendship requires a willingness to be vulnerable. It involves sharing thoughts, uncertainties, and experiences that are not immediately visible. However, vulnerability carries risk. If past experiences have shown that openness can lead to misunderstanding or judgment, individuals may become more cautious. They may choose to maintain a controlled version of themselves in social environments. While this protects them from negative experiences, It also prevents deeper connection from forming. Others can only connect with what is visible, and if deeper layers remain hidden, those connections remain limited. Over time, this protective behavior can create the appearance of social connection without the presence of true friendship. Another layer of complexity comes from how people interpret relationships. In many social environments, frequency of interaction is mistaken for depth of connection. Regular communication can create the impression of closeness, even when the conversations remain superficial. People may talk often, share updates, or spend time together, but still lack a deeper understanding of each other's internal world. This can make it difficult to recognize the absence of true friendship at first. Everything appears active, so it feels like something should be there, but over time, the absence becomes noticeable in subtle ways. Conversations do not provide clarity. Interactions do not create a sense of being understood. The relationship continues, but it does not feel grounded. As individuals begin recognizing this difference between interaction and connection, their perspective on relationships often starts to change. They become more aware of what is missing rather than focusing only on what is present. This awareness can feel uncomfortable because it challenges assumptions that were previously taken for granted. Situations that once felt normal may begin feeling incomplete. Conversations that once felt sufficient may start feeling repetitive. This does not mean that the relationships themselves are invalid. It means that the individual's expectations have evolved. They are beginning to look for something deeper than what their current environment provides. One of the most significant changes that occurs at this stage is increased selectivity. Instead of trying to maintain a large number of interactions, individuals may begin focusing on fewer connections that show potential for depth. They pay attention to how others respond to meaningful topics, how they handle vulnerability, and whether they show genuine curiosity about different perspectives. This selectivity is not about excluding others. It is about recognizing where deeper connection is possible. Over time, this approach can reduce the feeling of being surrounded but not understood. Another transformation involves communication. As individuals become more aware of their need for deeper connection, they may begin expressing themselves more openly in certain situations. They test whether others are willing to engage beyond surface-level interaction. Sometimes this leads to stronger relationships because it creates opportunities for mutual understanding. Other times it reveals that certain connections are not capable of supporting that level of depth. While this realization can feel disappointing, it also provides clarity. It allows individuals to invest their time and energy more intentionally. Another important realization emerges around the nature of friendship itself. True friendship is not defined by constant presence or frequent interaction. It is defined by mutual understanding, trust, and the ability to remain consistent across different situations. A real friend does not need constant explanation to understand intentions. They recognize patterns of behavior and interpret actions within that context. This level of understanding takes time to develop. It cannot be created through proximity alone. It requires shared experiences, honest communication, and a willingness to see each other beyond surface-level roles. Because of this, true friendship is relatively rare compared to casual social connection. Recognizing this rarity can change how individuals interpret their own situation. Instead of assuming that something is wrong with them for not having many deep connections, they begin understanding that depth itself is uncommon. Another shift occurs in how individuals experience solitude. When people feel that their relationships lack depth, Solitude can initially feel like absence, but as their perspective evolves, solitude can become a space for clarity rather than isolation. Without the pressure to maintain surface-level interaction, individuals have time to reflect on what they truly value in relationships. They begin understanding their own communication style, emotional needs, and expectations more clearly. This self-understanding becomes essential for forming deeper connections in the future. It allows individuals to recognize compatibility more quickly and to communicate more effectively when opportunities arise. Ultimately, the realization that one does not have real friends is not necessarily a negative endpoint. It can be the beginning of a more intentional approach to relationships. Instead of maintaining connections out of habit or convenience, individuals begin building them based on understanding and alignment. This process takes time, and it often involves periods of reduced social activity. But over time, it can lead to relationships that feel more stable, more meaningful, and more authentic. The absence of real friendship is not always a permanent condition. In many cases, it is a transition between surface-level interaction and deeper connection.